I want to continue. As I said, where are we? Are we revolving? Are we evolving? What must evolution and revolution entail? Surely it comes to a philosophical, sometimes a social standpoint. And as I go back to Solomon, standing up with two people who should have given him a bountiful harvest, two people who was working in his kingdom, two people who probably he depend on to populate and to prosper this kingdom. And here one stands and said, I have lost everything. I was careless. I was squandering. I am part of the system. I am part of the rule. I am important enough to stand in front of Solomon, a king, with such a menial issue. Not one of the judges. Not, and maybe the judges were puzzled. They themselves were not as clean, were not as discerning, but they were just a part of this ongoing system. And Solomon was the one true thing in this system. Look at it from a philosophical standpoint, not a biblical standpoint or a religious standpoint. And when these two women stand up, remember the bounty and the harvest is what they come to claim. The talent of the bounty, the talent of the harvest, the future of that harvest, the future. And one woman said, a woman represented the fruitfulness, fertility, said, you know what, I'll give it up. I can give it up because I'll be proud to see that thing blossom and grow somewhere else. It belonged to me. I have involved. I have achieved. I no longer have to depend on that to be a part of. And what am I going to take away from that, from this thing? Let me give it to that poor woman who is more powerful than me, so emotional and so passionate, and she has the law behind her. Let me give it to that poor woman who would rather see my talents split in half. Let me stand up. Let me be the revolutionary in this situation. Let me make a radical judgment and give it all up, because I have the talent, the wisdom, the knowledge, and the ability to go somewhere else and to produce greater than that. And I will be proud of that one which I see, because it came from me. Such was the prayer. And Solomon looked back and said, well, if I ask God just for wisdom and knowledge, and you are going to abandon everything, sacrifice everything, so that you can see your thing prosper, then it belongs to you. And such must be the philosophy. That's how we must take the status quo of our country now. Our government have evolved into this Patriot Act cowards, because they could not comprehend and constitute the relevance of the Constitution as it relates to other countries in a time of war. Instead, in their Harvard and Yale and Duke University stupidity, they blackened what a patriot is. They used the Patriot Act to blacken the proletariat, the citizens. They used the Patriot Act to take away civil rights. Yes, it may have saved some of us, but some of us were unfairly and unduly targeted and taken advantage of, and that cannot be repaired. Time, lost lives, lost family connections, lost worth. What was it worth for those people to have lost so much? So we must revolve. We let them evolve around the Constitution, this Patriot Act that protects them. It doesn't protect us. But when one of them step out and say this is unjust, they call him a treasonable person. But I said the real treason lies in the people that made the law, those same ones that sit in Congress and the Senate. They deserve, I never said to prosecute them, but they should take a second look at themselves. And we, the citizens, need to seriously take a look at them, because they can no longer, they are not functioning in a capacity in which the Constitution demands our basic civil liberties and freedom. Shame on them. Shame. Martin Luther King would have been ashamed of them. This is an outright blackened shame. And they stand up and call themselves Democrats. I see Hillary Clinton vying for presidency. I wonder where she is. How does she confront herself? Funny. Sarah Palin. And so forth. And we depend on these people like a political satire and a circus. That's all it is. A soap opera circus. And we suffer because of it. But it's okay, America. I hope we find our ground again. I hope we become worthy of standing up in the world again, and not just having somebody who can speak and act and put on makeup and dance, because any clown can do that. This is Misa Grand Duchess Rasmus Kernan. Have a good evening. Bye bye.